Europe is burning. France, Spain, Portugal, Greece. And now, the flames have reached the Netherlands. A wildfire is tearing through a Dutch nature reserve, shutting railways, forcing evacuations, and leaving 300 emergency responders battling through the night. Large forest fires are almost unheard of here. Europe's wildfire emergency has now reached a country that never expected to be part of it. A wildfire is tearing through the Netherlands, forcing evacuations, shutting down rail services and stretching emergency crews through the night. What began as a forest fire in a nature reserve has rapidly grown into one of the country's most unusual wildfire emergencies, as drought and shifting winds continue to fuel the flames. With the blaze still out of control, firefighters are racing to stop it from spreading even further. Firefighters battled through the night into Tuesday after a large wildfire broke out on Monday in the Dutch province of Limburg, near the village of Oostrum, close to the German border. The fire spread rapidly through the forest canopy, creating what authorities described as a crown fire and making containment efforts far more difficult. By morning of August the 4th, the blaze had engulfed around 100 hectares of land and remained out of control. Authorities said constantly changing winds accelerated the fire's spread, forcing emergency services to scale up their response. Around 300 emergency responders from several provinces worked overnight to tackle the flames, while firefighting helicopters resumed operations on Tuesday morning. Earlier, 2 defense helicopters had also been deployed to support efforts on the ground.
The challenge with extinguishing the fire is that it is, as far as I'm aware, very high up in the trees. We are, of course, also dealing with wind that is fanning the flames. The fire is moving through the trees, and you have to be able to reach it.
As a precaution, a nearby campsite was evacuated, with around 30 guests moved to a hotel. Officials also suspended train services between Boxmeer and Venray after the fire spread on both sides of a railway line running through the affected nature reserve. Provincial authorities urged people to stay away from the area, warning that the extremely dry conditions allowed the fire to spread quickly through the forest. They stressed that the cause of the wildfire has not yet been determined. Large forest fires are relatively rare in the Netherlands, making the Limburg blaze highly unusual. However, it comes amid a wider wave of destructive wildfires across Western Europe, following an unprecedented heatwave in June. Much of Europe is currently grappling with severe drought, dried-up rivers, water restrictions, and fast-moving wildfires. A prolonged heatwave and dry conditions have caused soaring numbers of wildfires across Europe, with several countries reporting scorched areas far exceeding annual averages. Water-bombing helicopters flew over Greece's Satha on August 4th, dropping water as the battle to contain wildfires in the region continues. 2 crew on a firefighting helicopter crashed and died on August 2nd near the seaside community of Satha, about 40 kilometers from Athens, after a mid-air brush with a second helicopter, whose 2 crews survived. More than 400 firefighters and 21 aircraft were deployed near the communities of Kandili and Agia Skepi on Monday as plumes of thick black smoke and red flames engulfed lush pine forests. Spain has seen over 186,000 hectares burned so far this year, about 5.6 times the area recorded during the same period in 2025, according to preliminary data from the Ministry for Ecological Transition and the Demographic Challenge. Italy recorded more than 1,070 major wildfires as of July 28th, burning about 74,000 hectares. The central regions remain particularly hard hit. Portugal registered 5,729 wildfires in the first 7 months of the year, burning roughly 53,000 hectares, the highest level for the period in 4 years, according to the Institute for Nature Conservation and Forests. For now, the battle in Limburg continues. With the fire still not under control, emergency crews remain locked in a race against time, hoping to contain the flames before shifting winds and dry conditions turn an already dangerous wildfire into an even larger disaster. The raging wildfires and more than 100 explosions. Beneath the ashes, a deadly secret buried beneath the village for 80 years. As flames tore through southern France, they uncovered hundreds of forgotten World War II shells, turning a wildfire into what residents described as the sound of a battlefield. Even after the flames fade, the danger is far from over. A devastating forest fire in southern France has uncovered a hidden cache of around 400 historic shells and munitions in the village of Limburg, transforming a natural disaster into a major explosive hazard. Local authorities said the wildfire triggered a series of powerful blasts that were initially believed to be exploding gas cylinders. However, firefighters later determined the explosions were likely caused by World War II-era ammunition detonating in the intense heat. More than 100 explosions echoed through the area during the second night of the fire. Mayor Marshal Zananetti described the terrifying sounds as the sound of war, while revealing that buried ammunition depots had remained undiscovered for decades beneath the municipality. Zananetti told France Info,
"There were ammunition depots buried in land within our municipality, but we didn't know it, and they exploded. They were going to the right, to the left, and that there was even one that went through a house."
He further said that the authorities had no prior knowledge that the historic weapons were buried beneath the land. Demining teams were immediately deployed to secure the area. Their work has allowed most residents to return home, although several locations remain off-limits, including access to the ocean, a nearby campsite, and the village of Legeni. In a statement on Instagram on August 3rd, the mayor wrote that access to the ocean, a campsite, and the village of Legeni remained off-limits. French media reported that the cache included both German and French World War II munitions, including mortar shells and anti-tank rounds. The discovery comes after the massive wildfire swept through the Gironde region for around 10 days before finally being brought under control. More than 180 homes were destroyed in Limburg alone, with heartbreaking images showing families searching through the charred remains of their properties. French Prime Minister Sébastien Lecornu praised firefighters for their efforts, saying France had stood firm during an unprecedented crisis. He added that the emergency response had entered a new phase as evacuated residents gradually returned to their homes. The wildfire forms part of a wider wave of fires that has devastated Europe over the past 2 weeks, particularly in France and Spain, forcing more than 330,000 people to evacuate. France alone saw around 42,000 hectares of forest destroyed in the southwest, making it one of the country's largest wildfires since the Second World War. For the people of Limburg, the flames may have been extinguished, but the discovery beneath the ashes is a stark reminder that even history can become dangerous when disaster strikes.
Les arbres, maintenant, il faut qu'on les dégage. Sinon, les arbres.
Qu'est-ce que vous cherchez, madame, en fait? No, 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 c'è tra madame, sì, tantini, c'è per partire.